So AEW Full Gear 2023 was last night, and like every AEW pay-per-view, it was a pretty up and down show, and a very interesting show, and a very chaotic show. Let's go ahead and discuss AEW Full Gear 2023. Make sure to subscribe right now, and yeah, let's just get into this. I managed to catch the latter two matches on the pre-show, that being Claudio Castagnoli versus Buddy Matthews, and MJF and Samoa Joe versus the Guns. Both of them were just standard matches really, they were good for what they were, but the big thing was MJF getting attacked by the Guns, and at first looking to be out of his match against Jay White in the main event. Now later on in the show, Adam Cole is revealed to be facing Jay White in the main event instead of MJF, but we're going to get onto that. That is just basically what happened in the pre-show. A pretty big story device in the pre-show. But on the main show, we do open with the big six-man tag. It's Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland against the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. It was a good match to open with. It was just your standard chaotic six-man tag in AEW with Sting and Darby Allin doing their thing, Adam Copeland with his big first pay-per-view match in the company, and the crowd was super hot for this. So yeah, this was a pretty good match here, and Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland do pick up the victory here, and also Ric Flair was there as well and raised his arm like he won as well. Please get Ric Flair away from these guys. Then we had the big International Championship rematch between Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley. Now, Jon Moxley did originally beat Orange Cassidy for the International Championship, but during his match with Rey Fenix on Dynamite, he of course got injured, and an audible was called, with Rey Fenix then pinning him to win the title before Orange Cassidy won it back a few weeks later. But since then, Jon Moxley has of course recovered, and here he is facing Orange Cassidy for the International title once again, challenging him for it. And I thought this was going to be where AEW gets their clean reset on this storyline. It was halted by the Jon Moxley injury. Now Moxley's going to win it again, and Orange Cassidy will go on what's seeming to be teased as a heel run that is soon to be happening, but instead Orange Cassidy has gone and retained the title here. Much to my surprise, I thought the match was alright for what it was. It's a match we've seen a lot of times before. I kind of don't want to see it again, but I have a feeling we are. I have a feeling we're going to get a rubber match for this, which again, I don't think we need. We've seen these guys, or combinations of these guys, in Blackpool Combat Club and Orange Cassidy's Alliance face off so many different times. It's time to separate this feud. Let Orange Cassidy do his thing with the International Championship, whatever that may be. But let's just separate Blackpool Combat Club from Cassidy and his crew. Next up, Hikaru Shida is defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Timeless Toni Storm, and this match was a fairly standard match between Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida, a match we've seen from them before, but with all the regular shenanigans from Toni Storm. Now, going into this match, it was very obvious that Toni Storm was going to win, because it was being billed as Toni Storm is challenging for the title at Full Gear. The match was hardly even being advertised as including Shida. It was very obvious that Toni Storm was probably going to win this match and regain the title, and she did, but I was very surprised that Mariah May didn't help her, and Toni Storm just did it clean. After the match, Mariah May did come out to give Toni Storm her flowers, so we have got this little alliance going forward now, seemingly with Toni Storm and Mariah May, and that is very interesting to see. But Hikaru Shida's reign ends at 37 days. Hopefully we can now stop flip-flopping the women's title and just have Toni Storm go and hold it for a little while and have a good run with it and have it be on TV every week. I think that's the most important thing here. Four-way tag team action next for the AEW World Tag Team Championships in a ladder match with Ricky Starks and Big Bill facing LFI, FTR, and Kings of the Black Throne. This match was awesome. I love just a good chaotic ladder match between four teams, four great teams of guys, four different profiles and teams. You got Ricky Starks and Big Bill, who are, you know, a smaller guy and a big guy in one team together. You have LFI, who are high flyers. You have FTR, who are more traditional style wrestlers. And you've got Kings of the Black Throne, who are brute powerhouse wrestlers. So many different profiles in this match, and it made for a really fun and again chaotic, just mad match. People going through ladders, crazy ladder spots. There was one point where there was a ladder spot done in the corner, but the ladder didn't break, and then they set it up to do it again, and the ladder didn't break again. Listen, if the ladder doesn't break, it still looks brutal. You don't need to repeat the spot, but regardless, we got two just crazy spots in a row in that exact same corner. But either way, it was Ricky Starks and Big Bill in the end who retained their tag team championships. And listen, I don't know why it's such an unpopular opinion that Ricky Starks and Big Bill are holding the tag titles. I don't know why people aren't liking it. I get wanting to have like real tag teams and regular tag teams, but I'm liking Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Let's let them hold them for a little while longer. This was a great match. After that, though, we had the TBS title 3-way match with Kris Statlander defending her title against Julia Hart and Sky Blue. I thought this match was really fun. I thought all three of them put a really good shift in and had a really solid match, and there was so many times in this match where I thought one of them was about to win. I think this was one of the most unpredictable matches going into the card, which you can probably tell from the thumbnail, which I had to get commissioned the day before, which is why Sky Blue is holding the title instead of Julia Hart, who was the actual winner in this match and won the TBS title. And just like that, a new women's star has been created in AEW. Julia Hart, your new TBS champion, and very deserved. She's been putting in a lot of work recently. I wanted to see Sky win personally, and I would have loved to see Sky win. Like I said, I think she would have been a great champion, but Julia winning it is just as good. Heck, even Kris Statlander retaining would have been fine, because all three of them put up a great performance in this match, I thought, and this was the better women's match of the night, in my personal opinion. But next up is the match of the night. It's Swerve Strickland, who comes out with Prince Nana, who does a crazy dance routine against Hangman Adam Page in a Texas death match, and this was just 30 minutes of these guys destroying each other. You first of all, just minutes into the match, had Swerve getting stapled, then stapling himself and enjoying it, then Hangman makes him bleed and drinks his blood. It was crazy. They had barbed wire involved, they were smacking each other with barbed wire chairs, going into barbed wire boards, going through tables. They did every hardcore spot possible, and it worked because this is such a personal feud, and you believe that these guys want to beat the hell out of each other. The segment that they had on last edition of Dynamite really made you believe that, and this match was just perfect for the storyline, and Swerve Strickland got the win, which was the correct decision. I really thought they were going to have Hangman win it and maybe do like a third match possibly, but nah, Swerve Strickland won. Correct decision. Now let's get that man in the world title scene right now. So yeah, match of the night by far, and straight into what I think was the worst match of the night, which was the Young Bucks against the Golden Jets. It's time to get Kenny Omega doing singles once again. Kenny Omega was at his best when he was the world champion, just doing singles matches. Let's get him just doing singles once again, please. Him and Jericho unfortunately don't have any chemistry as a team, and this match against the Young Bucks just didn't hit. Potentially down to the fact that it was coming right after the Hangman and Swerve match. That's probably a big part of it. It was definitely bad pacing on AEW's part for the show. And yeah, the crowd didn't seem too hot for it either. It was not my personal cup of tea, this match. I just don't think there was much chemistry between the two teams. And I don't want to blame a particular person, but I just don't think Jericho fits in with this storyline between Kenny Omega and the Elite. I do like Jericho, but there's no reason for him to be involved with this. But yeah, the Golden Jets, regardless, do get the win. The Young Bucks have a temper tantrum again, and who knows what is going on with this storyline next. But either way, whatever, it happened. And now, on to the main event. It's Adam Cole against Jay White for the world title, which is of course not the final match that is happening. Card subject to change, as MJF subs himself back into the match and wrestles Jay White in a really weird match, because it was good, but it was good in parts and just really overbooked and unneedlessly overbooked in the end, and also made Jay White look really weak, and that's because of the fact that MJF was selling his leg injury and had one leg supposedly, yet still beat Jay White. Like I said, it was good for what it was. There was some really good spots in it, like MJF hitting the cutter, jumping over the top rope onto the apron, taking him out onto the floor. That just looked absolutely epic from MJF. He is adding all these new moves to his arsenal every single time he steps into the ring. But you of course had your interference from the Bullet Club and from Adam Cole, and it turned it into a bit of an overbooked mess in the end that made Jay White look weak when he eventually took the pinfall from MJF to retain his title despite having one leg. Is it time soon for MJF's title reign to end? Maybe. To who though? Maybe Joe? Maybe Swerve Strickland? Who is the Devil? It wasn't revealed on this show. Yeah, so that was cool. In fact, there was no sight of the Devil on this show, so that was not continued. So it makes me wonder where the world title goes next. Personally, I don't think MJF needs to lose it right now. I wouldn't mind if he does, but if he wants to keep it going a little longer, or AEW wants to keep his reign going a little longer, I don't mind. But I'm very intrigued by who this Devil is, and I'm very surprised we didn't get any sort of sign or even a glance of him or a showing of him at all at this show here on Full Gear. So again, kind of in the thumbnail for nothing, and that's what happens when you commission your thumbnails before the shows even happen. Lesson learned. Overall, I'm going to give AEW Full Gear a solid 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was just a solid show top to bottom. There was no really bad or boring match other than the Golden Jets versus the Young Bucks. Everything else was at least watchable and had a reason for it to be on the card. I thought this card was good, and it had a lot of stories on it, and that's what made me really enjoy it. Every single match had some sort of story, particularly the Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida match, the Swerve versus Hangman match, very much so, the women's three-way, and even the main event. Even if it was overbooked, there was some storytelling and storyline going into the match at least. But that's it from me. Let me know what you thought of AEW Full Gear in the comments below. A good return to form as always for AEW. The pay-per-views always are. The pay-per-views usually always end up being solid for AEW, even if the build hasn't been great. But yeah, I thought this was a good solid show. Let me know what you thought down below. Goodbye guys, and keep on rolling.